This is The Moneymakers. I'm Bruce Whitfield, and tonight a very special broadcast from the home of Krispy Kreme in South Africa. A donut brand founded in the United States in 1937, found its way to South Africa in 2015. This was the first store in Rosebank in Johannesburg. Plans afoot to expand in the Gauteng region, KZN in 2017, and the Western Cape in 2018. Gerry Thomas is the managing director of Krispy Kreme in South Africa. I've got to ask you, what took you so long to get a proven global donut franchise into this market?
Didn't take us too long, actually.
It's been open since 1937. What took you so long?
We've been doing other things. We've been having fun in other ways. But when the opportunity came up 3 years ago, we hooked onto it.
How do these opportunities present themselves? Because you've been involved in Europa, which is then sold to famous brands. So you get into concepts, you move through the process, move it on, and then come across new opportunities. You don't trip over those in the street, though.
No, I mean, subsequent to the sale of Europa, we had a bit of time on our hands. We weren't doing much. And we got a phone call from the US Trade Commission, from the commercial desk, and told us Krispy Kreme's coming through. They want to speak to people with industry knowledge. Are we keen to chat? And that was it.
So you go through then quite an active bidding process, and there would have been other players in the market as well. How do you compete on that sort of basis? Is it like putting a bid into a sealed envelope and hoping for the best?
So that's a great question, because in this instance it wasn't about that. It was about people. It was about chatting to people and communicating, and the bid was the minor part of it. The bid came right at the end when we thought we had it. So it was about putting a team of people together, and that was where we created a joint venture between our company, John and Jerry's Brands, which is a small little business, and 4 News Development, which gave us that scale and that bulk. They've got other brands. They've been in existence for 20 years. And when we put that consortium together, I think the Krispy Kreme USA guys saw the experience that we've got, the industry knowledge, and that's what clinched it for us. Paperwork came at the end.
Okay, paperwork is it's so boring. It's the boring bit. Let's take a walk, because I would like you to take me through the process, please, of how you make a donut. Now, do we know anything about the history of donuts? As to who was the first person who took some yeast and some flour, a lot of air, and then put it into a ring with a hole in it?
We don't know. I don't know too much about that, because I just focus on Krispy Kreme, and I focus on Vernon Rudolph, who took a French recipe.
Okay.
He bought a French recipe from a French baker in the States, in North Carolina, Winston-Salem, and it was something special. And what's special about it is that it's yeast raised. It's light, it's fluffy, it's airy. It goes through a proofing process and a quick cooking process, so it makes it all that much easier to eat. And
everybody talks about, because we all grew up with donuts in the school tuck shop. Sometimes they were a week old. They were pretty chewy. They had sugar water sort of put on top. There was a glaze. Yes. And hey, a donut's a donut, right? Yes. Or not?
No, not in this case. Yeast raised, light. The glaze has got a secret recipe. They won't tell us what it is.
You don't know,
we don't know
what is in the mystery glaze.
So we have the bulk of the ingredients, and then there's a little secret packet that goes in. No one will tell us what's
Knorr,
what it is.
You know that. It's what Jay something who does cooking on the aeroplanes does. He just chucks
We're going to take it to a lab and see what we can do.
Okay, take me then, please, to the process, and I want you to talk me through when you get the dough. You mix the dough. It comes.
Yes,
so it doesn't come ready mixed from the United States.
We get the pre-mixed flour mix comes. The brewless yeast mix comes from the United States. We mix it here with certain ingredients with the right water temperatures, and we get it out into a mechanized process. And the mechanized process extrudes the donuts. So we've got a consistency of size, consistency of weight, and then out of this mechanized process, they come into the proofing chamber.
Okay, now, when they go into the proofing chamber, they're not much bigger than a lifesaver.
Little 50 cent pieces.
Okay, 50 cent pieces. A bit bigger than a lifesaver, the old tubes of sweets.
Yes.
They go into this proofing process.
Yes.
It takes you then 13 minutes
yes.
for the rising to happen.
Correct.
Then into fat.
Correct, into palm oil.
Palm oil, what's so special about palm oil?
It's just less absorption into the donut process. Quick flash fry, quick cooking process. Doesn't take long, doesn't absorb too much oil. You can see it from here. It's perfect golden color. And then they start on this conveyor belt and they go into the fountain of glaze. This is our original
fountain of glaze.
Fountain of glaze.
It sounds like a kid's game, electronic game.
It does.
Okay, so into the electronic, into this particular system where the glaze goes.
Correct.
Goes over the donuts with
Yes.
the secret. It's a bit like KFC with the secret herbs and spices.
It's exactly that.
And that's what, like a vanilla flavoring or something.
It's got a unique flavoring, but vanilla is a good starting point. Yes.
Okay, so from the beginning of this factory process,
Yes.
where you've mixed the dough to the proving process into the production line and out the other side.
Yes.
How long?
About an hour.
That's quite a long time.
It is a long time because before you go into the extrusion process, you've got some rising time, and that's what's.
How many donuts do you move in a store this size in Rosebank on an average day? Because I know weekends the queues go out the door, and at peak times here the queues can go out the door as well.
About 700 dozen a day.
700 dozen a day. Baker's dozens or regular dozens?
12.
And 12, there we go. Regular dozens. That is 8,000 donuts a day, give or take.
Depending on the day, yeah.
Big days,
Go up to about 1,200 dozen.
1,200 dozen
1,000
donuts a day.
yes.
That's it's an incredible volume.
Yeah.
South Africans are very trendy. They like new stuff. They like new ideas. They like new concepts. We saw the queues, the Burger King queues around the block. We've seen the Starbucks queues around the block. Must have been very similar at the start here in November 2015 for you.
Yes, it was, and we marketed for that. A month before we opened, we gave out 100,000 donuts into the market. We got product in hand. We got people to crave what we do. And look, the brand's been going since 1937, 79 years.
Yes.
There's pedigree behind it.
Pedigree, what, 500 and something dog years or so?
That's 433 something dog years. So, and people read about it and they see it and they travel, and then you bring it into the country and you get the product in hand, and the people who haven't had it now get a little taste, but if they want a big taste, they must come back to the opening. So we had 500 people odd camping out here the night before we opened.
But again, can you survive once the hype dies down? What happens after that? You get into a regular flow of business down to the 800 dozen a day.
Yeah, look, that's a great question. We got to create hype. We got to market around hype. Krispy Kreme's been doing that again for 79 years. You look at the birthday, we've created an event. 79 years, we're selling a dozen glazed donuts for 79 Rand. We've created something out of it. And that's how we keep the hype going. And then obviously product innovation, new products, coffee, very important.
Now, is the coffee any good? Because one has this impression, and forgive me, that you watch enough American cop shows and you see cops typically sitting with a paper cup of drip coffee, which is weak and horrible, and a rubbish donut. And that's what they sit and they never look in fine physical condition. That's the stereotype image.
Yes.
Are you turning that on its head?
We in South Africa, yeah, we've got a good coffee culture, we've got an espresso-based culture. Krispy Kreme were very open to us doing our own thing regarding coffee. You know, we follow the rules when it comes to donuts. They're the experts, we go with what they say. On the coffee side, we have some license. We went for African beans, we sourced them, we did the taste profile, we roast, package, and blend locally in Joburg.
Because coffee, I mean, and that's good, and I'm glad that you're doing it, but coffee isn't the differentiator anymore. It used to be the big differentiator, now you need something else. Everybody does coffee, everybody does hamburgers, and there's a donut that didn't flip over, but that's okay, we'll forgive you for that one. It happens occasionally. It is all about these babies over here. But these are the classic ones, right? So
This is the original glaze, signature.
These are the original glazed donuts, but you've done extraordinary things. I want to go and look at the trays of donuts, which are just over there. So we've magically come over to where the trays of donuts are, and you guys do extraordinary things with donuts, but it is the classic, the glazed donut with the secret mixture that probably sells the highest number.
It does, but funny in our market, what we call assorted and the gourmet donuts sell very, very well. In the States, the original glazed is the one, but here people want to try different things. So you know, we've localized a lot of them. We've done our own toppings, our own fillings, and they're working well.
Okay, how much license do you have to break from tradition?
We've got license, and but I say that, but we also work with the guys in the States to make sure that we don't, you know, operationally we maintain something that's feasible. So at the moment we're running a promotion with a local chocolate company, We've got four donuts with them, filled, topped with their products and manipulated in our way, and they're doing really, really well. So there's a middle road, and we follow that road.
Now, this is the first store, opened in November last year. Then there are other stores. There's one at Mall of Africa.
That opened in April. Gautrain Station was before that at Sandton.
There are no queues there, you know. I go past there often. I haven't seen a queue.
That's our best trading store.
Really?
Per square meter.
Oh, well, and it's tiny.
30 square meters.
It's absolutely tiny.
Yeah.
Is that the format of the future, though?
It is. So this is a hub store. This is a production store. We have 1 or 2 of these per region. Donut theatre, fresh product coming off the line, creating a vibe. And then we go to the smaller format fresh stores. So Gautrain is a small format, Mall of Africa is a small format, and the rollout will be that until we need another one of these. It'll be a supply and demand thing. We have a factory in Limbra Park that produces the bulk of our donuts and is the hub to the spoke, sending off to the other small outlets.
Forgive me for this observation as well, but 30 stores over 5 years doesn't seem massively ambitious.
And that was our rollout. The guys in the States had a different plan, but it's also a real estate game. We want to go into the best locations, we want to mitigate our risks, we want the best corners, we want to fight for the best deals with landlords, and then from there, once we have the 30, then we can fill in and just make sure that we do the right thing. And we don't want to cannibalize this brand. We want to create an experience, want people to share in the joy, and you can only share in the joy if you're unique and you're in the right place.
Now, I mean, American culture is global. I mean, America's been very good at exporting its culture. Surely you go from here, from your 30 plus filling in the Gap stores, and you go north of our borders into sub-Saharan Africa. Is that part of the deal, or has somebody else got that?
It's not part of the deal. The deal is the license agreement South Africa specific. But
if you knock their socks off, come on.
No, in discussions we've obviously spoken about the SADC countries north of South Africa. They are going into Nigeria, so that's taken care of. But there's been interest, and we've had people approaching us to say, come with us into other African countries. And that's what you need. You need people in those countries. You need guys who know the markets to partner up with and go into them.
My 4-year-old, final and very serious question, my 4-year-old wants to know who put the hole in the donut and why.
Good question. And what happened to the rest of it?
Exactly. That's what his problem is.
Yeah, we'll have to bring him here and take him on a little show.
There we go. Well, that's the story of Krispy Kreme in South Africa. First store opened in November. Over the next 5 years, 30 stores. As I said at the start, Gauteng first, KZN next, and then the Western Cape. And then over the years, the gaps will be filled. Gerry Thomas is the Managing Director of Krispy Kreme in South Africa. Thank you so much for watching The Moneymakers. We've been on something of an extravaganza through the world of donuts, and we still don't know why there's a hole. Till next time, bye-bye.